Good evening, everyone. How you guys doing? Excuse me. I'm just gonna give everybody here a couple more minutes to get logged in and stuff. And tonight, I'm gonna be talking about Easel, the drawing area. I think there's a lot of things that people are kind of missing on Easel drawing area. How much you can do, what you can do, what's possible. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do on Easel that I don't think a lot of people are taking advantage of. That was kind of strange. I was just looking at at my videos here on my YouTube channel, and I was looking at my marathon videos, and it's kind of strange. They're supposed to be watched video or marathon video number 1, number 2, and then number 3. And the video number 1 has a bunch of hits. Video number 2 doesn't have as many. And video 3 doesn't have as many. And that's really a shame, because the way that course was set up, you had to watch every video in order and all the way through. I mean, it's 2 hours each video. So it's a total of 6 hours. That is less than 1 working day. And to sacrifice 6 hours to learn your machine the correct way, it's not asking much. It really isn't. But I mean, if you're listening to me, you should really. And if you've only watched the number 1 video, which only covers the 3018, the 3018, that's all that's covered in the first video, is how to maintain it, how to take care of it, how to test it, how to adjust it. Everything is in there. Video number 2 is all about Easel drawing area. Okay, and video number 3 is where I put them together. And that's where you'd actually set it up, set everything up, and actually do a carving. So you people that have just watched video number 1 and went ashore, you're missing out on a lot. I'm telling you. It's like I said, the video was designed. The videos were designed to be watched all the way through and in order. Okay, that's how you get the most out of those. All right. It's about time here now. So let's get started here. I'm going to turn you around. And let me see here. Just 1 second. I'm trying to find here where I am live. Okay. That looks pretty good. Let me just bring it in closer here. Okay, I think I got it there. I think I got that there because I have to monitor it on another computer here. So, and there's about a 20-second lag. All right. So, what I'm going to talk about is the drawing area in Easel. Before I even start, I'm going to make one thing clear for everybody that watches my videos. I do not support inches. CNC and inches do not play well together. Okay? Now I'm going to give you a good example here. And this is just a piece of wood that I have set up here. 304.8 by 203.2, and it's 12.7 millimeters. thick. Okay. Now look at these numbers here. Here I have 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 millimeters. Okay. And I mean, you're not really talking, you're talking 50 millimeters is right there. That's 50 millimeters, 5 centimeters. And there's 10 millimeters in each centimeter. So that's 5 centimeters right there, which is basically 2 inches. Okay. 50 millimeters is really close to 2 inches. 25 millimeters is basically, it's actually 25.4 millimeters is 1 inch. Okay. Just so you know that. All right. Now, what I want you to look at here are these numbers right here. Right here, I mean, I can tell you that 54 millimeters would be right about here. Okay, and that's pretty darn accurate. Now, I'm going to show you something that's useless. Put it to inches. There you go. 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches. That's all you have. And excuse my English, but that's about as useless as tits on a bull. Okay? Inches are divided up into 12. Everything on the CNC runs on decimal, a base of 10. Okay? So you see the problems? All right? So I only teach in metric, and I will only help people in metric. If somebody gets a hold of me and wants to know about a problem and they start referring to me in inches, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Okay? Because I do not use those idiotic measurements. Okay. All right. Back to easel drawing area. Now, the first thing I can really highly recommend as you're doing your drawing to begin with, you really don't need to see so much of your preview. So by grabbing these 3 dots here, you can pull your drawing area over. So you have a much larger drawing area. And now I have just enlarged it, and I'm going to move it over so I can see the numbers on my y-axis here and my numbers on my x-axis here. Okay, I want to see them nice and clear. And then when I highlight something, that box will come up way over here. So I have all this area to work with. Now I'm going to change back to millimeters, so we'll be correct. Okay. Now, I'm going to just touch on a couple of things up here. And the first thing here is you have this easel up here. Now, I have the pro version, but what I'm going to be teaching you is I'm going to try to not touch on the pro stuff, okay? So anybody that doesn't have pro, this will be for you, okay? So this is where you can click on to see all your projects, right there. All right. Now, Untitled, that's because my file name is Untitled right now. Okay, let's put let's try a new one here. Okay, let me see here what. Don't know what that sharing private. Okay, close. Okay, that's for sharing. I've never seen some of these icons. All right. So I showed you that the easel is to show you all your old projects, Untitled. That's because I haven't put a name to this yet. And I'll change the name later. File is just like any other program. You have new, open, properties, make a copy. Now this one here, use it. Use it. Make a copy. If you're doing, any project you're doing, if you want to make 100 copies of it, you can. And you can manipulate every copy, and they all retain the same coordinate system, everything. Okay? Make copies. Here you can import SVG. You can export G code. You can download zip. You can share, and you can publish. Okay? Now, edit. Real short right now. Real short because you haven't done anything. Select all, select by cut type, and paste. Okay? I'm going to hit this. I'm going to hit up on this one again a lot. Okay? Machine. This is where you do all your setup in your machine and all this, and set up your machine, drivers, and post processor. That's new right there. I haven't seen that before. Okay? Toolbox. Bits, material. This is for the pro version. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you're using Easel, and if you have not checked out all of these options here under help, you have missed the boat. Because I'm going to tell you something. Here is the best information you could ever want. Just for example, troubleshooting. Watch. Troubleshooting. Bam! Look at this. For 3D preview isn't displaying. Unable to resize object in Easel. Rough edges. Rough edge cuts. Homing cycle fails. Does not cut all the way through when it should. Okay? Any of these problems. That's all machine won't connect. Okay, click on it. Here it says, these here, you see how this one is white? That's because all of this concerns that one. Okay? USB connection is loose or faulty. Change USB cable, make sure that blah, 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 all that. Click on the next one. You get up a whole another list of things to check. Easel driver isn't installed. Here's the instructions. Boom, anything. Use, I'm telling you, Inventables have literally used millions of dollars creating this stuff right here. Use them. They are there for you to use and learn. Okay? Because I'll tell you this program here, Easel, is a full-blown CAD CAM program. And for you people that don't know what CAD CAM is, CAD is computer-aided design, which is this area. This is your CAD area. Okay? Computer-aided machining. That's this area here. Okay? So you have the full package here. It does everything. You do your designing, and you also do your drawing right here in Easel. Okay? Okay, I'm going to move that over there. I'm going to move it up a little bit. All right. So that was machine help and inventables. This last one right here, project ideas. But let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you one thing about Easel's projects. Okay? And you have to understand this because it will screw you up if not. All of the Easel projects are geared for the X-Carve machine, which is a beast compared to the 3018, okay? The X-Carve machine is a beast. It is not like the 3018. So when you are picking out a project from Easel or from Inventables, first of all, pick out a project that will fit on your machine or can be scaled down to your machine. And second of all, never, never, never use the automatic cut settings, because those are cut settings set up for the X-carve machine. And that runs 4 times harder than your machine does, if not more. Okay, so you have to use manual settings. Okay, and I'll cover those in another session. All right, back to the drawing area. Now, I'm just going to bring out a simple square. A simple square. Now, the first thing you need to know about this simple square is that when it's highlighted, you have these squares around it. These are called handles. This handle will increase it proportionately to the right. Okay? Now, I just changed the size of it, right? And let's just say that I screwed up. Now, when I click at edit, look at how many things come up because I have an object highlighted. One thing I need to explain that some people do not realize: anything you do in Easel drawing area, you can undo it or you can redo it. Every mouse click you do in Easel, it is just like putting a pearl on a string, one after another. Each pearl has a command, and it is remembered. It is remembered by Easel. If you do anything wrong, go to edit and just right here, undo resize. Undo resize. Undo move. There, started exact. I can even undo the square. Undo add. There. I can now watch this. Let me see. Undo use manual cut settings. Now see here, now right underneath it, guess what? Redo. I can redo, add, boom. There's my square. I can go up here. I can redo the move. There, bring it back there. Okay? This here, undo and redo, is going to be one of your best friends, because you can, by having these, you can try things and not have to worry about screwing it up. Okay? These are dead now. That's just those two. Okay? And when you think of all the other selections you have, boy, you have an array of tools in front of you. Okay? Now, as I said, these squares are called handles. Every corner handle will increase it in size, and it'll keep the proportion. Okay? It'll keep the same shape. And if I pull this one here, you see how it'll increase it towards downward and to the right. If I move this one, it's upward and to the right. And this one here, it's downward and to the left. And just the opposite with that one. Okay? So, now, those are the corner ones. The side ones, this one will expand it. It'll stretch it to the right. Okay? This one here will stretch it upwards. Okay? And same thing here, left and bottom. This top one will rotate. Okay? It'll rotate. And if you stop there and you think, oh, I want it really straight up and down, I go to edit, undo, rotate. Boom. Okay. Now, what else can we do with a simple, besides, okay, we can change cut paths. Right now, it's cut out a pocket, and you can see over here that it's physically going to cut out a pocket. Or I can go to cut on shape path, which is now my tool is the center of my tool is going to ride right on that blue line that goes around. And when I do this, my part's going to be smaller than expected. It will be the diameter of your tool smaller both ways. Okay? Because you're cutting in with half of your tool here and you're cutting in with half of your tool here. That's one tool width, smaller. Okay? And then we have cut outside shape path. Now, if you told this, okay, I'll show you here. And right now I have this highlighted, and here is size. And it says 50.8. And I'm going to say lock. Now, when I say lock, that means I want to keep, I don't want to lock it. I'm going to explain that one in a second. But I'm going to say right now that the size that I want for that square will be 50.5 millimeters square. And that is just the width right now. Okay. And now I'm going to change my height also to 50.5. Now I have a perfect square that is 50.5 millimeters square. Now, on my cut settings, if I want to cut that out or just cut that square so that you can see not all the way out, but just 1.5 millimeters deep or whatever. But let's say I want that square to be 50.5 millimeters size each way. Okay. Like I said, if I do the cut on shape path, I'm going to try, let me see if I can do this. I'm going to try to, I'm trying to get you in, see if you can see it. But you see how, you can actually see how the square gets smaller because it's showing the cut path. Okay, this is cut on shape path. And you see there? That's cut on outside shape path. Now, if I go all the way to cut on inside shape path, then that square will be 2 times my tool diameter smaller. You see? See that? So these are your cut settings. This is to cut out a pocket, and that pocket will be 50.5 millimeters between edges. If your machine is all set up correctly. I'm going to tell you one little thing about your machine, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I'm mentioning it. This machine is so accurate, it is accurate down to 0.005 of a millimeter. That is 5/1000ths of a millimeter. That is really accurate. So, in other words, in the CNC world and Easel and everything you do on this machine and in CNC carving, there is nothing called eyeballing it here. If you are not exact down to the 1/10 of a millimeter, you're going to blow it. everything in CNC world, everything with Easel, everything with the 3018 needs to be 100% exact. Because you screw up one number, it's going to ruin your day. Okay? If you measure your tool size wrong, it will ruin your day. If you're making an inlay and you use the wrong tool size, it's not going to work. Okay? So that's why I'm saying be exact with everything you do on these machines. Now, right now, just for drawing purposes, I'm going to make it like this, and I'm going to make my tool a little bit smaller so you get a little bit sharper lines. And I'm going to put in millimeters. I'm going to put in 1.5 millimeters. There we go. A little bit sharper lines, easier to see. Okay? Now, as long as your object is highlighted, okay, as long as it's highlighted and you have your window open here at the bottom, underneath your cut path, you have edit point. Well, I'll tell you what. Before I get into edit points, let me show you. This is the cool stuff here. You're okay. You have your cut. This is your cut window. Here's where you determine how deep that object is going to be cut. Okay? And if I don't want to cut it at all, you see here in my preview, it's gone. If I bring it all the way down, then in my preview, it's going to show that it's being cut all the way out. Okay? And this number here is just nothing more than a representation of this number. So you don't have to slide this thing. So if you want 1.7 millimeters, you don't have to take this slider and keep moving it until you see 1.7 there. You don't have to do that. Here, you can just highlight the number and you put 1.7, enter. There. And it goes automatically to 1.7 up here. And it goes to 1.7 here. So you don't have to use that slider. You can use just type in the exact number you want. Pretty cool, huh? Now, shape. This one right here. This right here, information here. My God, you have to know this. I mean, you should know this. You should understand this to where there is absolutely no question in your mind of how to use it or what it does. If you do not understand this window right here, you missed the boat. You really did. I'm gonna start off with this right here. This domino. Okay? This domino does absolutely nothing except that's all it's showing is where we are referencing our object from. That's all. In other words, if I could click on this domino and put it right in the center of my object, and then I look at it, and okay, right now the bottom left-hand corner is highlighted. That means this bottom right-hand corner of my object is what's being used to reference between this corner here and my 0 point. This 0 point, here's Y and here's X. This 0 point is always, always, always going to be there. That is your 0 point. You cannot change it. You can never change this 0 point at all. This is carved in stone here. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you one thing though. These numbers here on your y-axis, 200 millimeters, 150, 150, 0. Guess what? They don't stop there. No, they do not. Those numbers there, they keep going. But from here, it starts all over again. Here, it starts going in negative numbers. So it'd be negative 10, negative 20, negative 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. And the same thing with X. X keeps going out there. And that's all. The only difference is they are negative numbers. So this here, really, this whole white area, it could have all been white. And it could just show the 0 point where it's at. Okay? So don't be confused by just the white. Remember, that white keeps going. It's just that Easel does not show you that. Now, why am I mentioning all that about down there, that all this area here? Because I'm going to show you something. Like I said, right now on my dice, I have the bottom left-hand corner. Excuse me, bottom left-hand corner selected, and that means I am referencing this bottom left-hand corner down to my 0 point. And it's telling me right here, in x-axis, it's 116 millimeters, 116.2 millimeters to the right of my 0 point. So if I go 100, 110, 116.2, and I come right to there. Okay? That's what that means. That's all it means. Is that reference point, that corner there, is 100, and if you go straight down, it is 116.2 millimeters to the right of the 0 point. And it's the same as in Y. We're using the same reference point, so we go straight across here, and it's like 187 or something like that. 87. And I look over here. Yeah, here it tells me right here, 87.3. So if I follow this corner here, right over here to here, that is 87.3 from 0 point up. Okay, now I'm not going to move my square or anything. The only thing I'm going to do is watch this. I'm going to change my reference point to upper left-hand corner. This one. Okay, now tell me, what has not changed, X or Y? Okay, and if you look over here, guess what? X, 111, 116.2. So I go to 116.2, and I come right up, and that's it right there. That's my point. X did not change, but my Y did, because now instead of measuring from here, okay, from this corner here, I'm measuring from this corner. So now it's 137.8 millimeters to the 0 point. This corner is. Now, this is, and the same thing if I click on this, if I click on this corner, upper right-hand corner, okay, now guess what? My Y hasn't changed because I'm still up here. This one is at the same height as this one. So my Y height hasn't changed, but now my X is way over here. My X is all the way down. Oops. My X would be about 150, 168 something. And it's 166.7. Okay? From this corner here straight down to here. All right, so that's, now the thing about it is this relationship that you have here, if you don't do anything with it, that is, this relationship here is going to be here all the time. It's going to be here all the time. If I click down to the bottom left-hand corner again, using this reference point here, and I can see that it is 116.2 millimeters to the right of my 0 point. And I can see that it is 87.3 above my 0 point, 87.3. Now, if you put your numbers in correctly, if you put them in correctly, you really measured your piece of wood and you are 100% accurate with your numbers, and you put the correct numbers in here, okay? Then, I'm just going to bring this out a little bit because we are going to talk a little bit about this. And here, this here is just like your drawing area, okay? This is just like your drawing area. Here, you have y-axis and you have x-axis. Now, here is your 0 point on your piece of wood, 0, 0. It says right there, 0, 0. Okay? Let me move it over here a little bit. There you go. It's easier to see. 0, 0. Okay? Now, guess what? From 0 point to this corner here is 116 millimeters, 116.2, and it is 87.3 millimeters above the 0 point. Now, if you're a mathematician and you like to calculate all of that, and you like to do math in your head and everything, fine, that's great. Now, there's a couple things that I can tell you right now. Let's just say that you wanted that square dead center in your material. Okay? The first thing you better be really accurate with is measuring your material. When you put your material size in your material window, okay? That is why it's so imperative to be perfectly accurate with your numbers. You put your numbers in here correctly, and you put a square that's highlighted in there. You can put it actually, you can put it, have it anywhere you want, okay? And you can go to edit and click on edit, and guess what? All the way at the bottom, it says right here, center to material. And look at that. It's centered exactly on the material. Now, think of this. If you gave it the wrong size of material, it's going to think it's that size, and it's going to position it in that size, and it's going to want to carve it out. But once you put your material on your board and it's a different size, guess what? It ain't going to look the same. Okay? That's why I say the more accurate you are with your numbers, the better results you're going to get. And you will eliminate 50% of the faults by double checking and triple checking everything you do. Now I'm going to show you something else that's really cool. This is how we centered that square on there, okay? Now, let's just say we take a ruler. We take a ruler across from one corner to the next, and we draw a line in the center, okay? And we do the same thing this way, and we draw a line in the center, all right? So now we have a dot right here in the center, right in the center of our piece of wood, all right? And let's say that now we are going to do a little bit different here. Let me see here. Move this over so you can see the drawing area again. And I can move this over so we can see what happens with that at the same time. Okay, now here is where it's really cool. This is what's really cool. First of all, with your 0 point, or you mean your reference point being the bottom left-hand corner of your object, okay? Now, I'm just going to show you one more thing here, and I'm going to bring up a star. And I'm going to just bring that up there like that. And I'm going to bring a little circle in, and we'll make that a little bit smaller. Okay, now, you remember when I highlighted the square, and on here I have the bottom left-hand corner highlighted, right? It was the bottom left-hand corner. The square was my only object at the time, okay? Now, this is our whole object now, okay? So if I go to edit and I say select all, now this outer square is the same representation as the square you saw in here on that square there, with the same handles, okay? So if I want to make everything here bigger and go off to the right, upper right, okay, I can make it bigger. You see there? And if I do, I screwed up. Then I go back here, undo resize, boom, back to exactly the beginning where I was. But now, guess what? Bottom left-hand corner is not here anymore. It's here. So now there's completely different numbers. Now it will be X 50, 60, 70, 73-ish, 74-ish. And guess what it is? 75.2. It's 75.2 right to there from 0 point on X. On Y, it's going to be 50, 60, or I'd say 61. Yep, 61.5. Now, you try to get those measurements by this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. You can't do it. You cannot get that accurate with this like that. That's why I keep harping about metric system. If you want to know just a little bit of truth about metric system, there are only 3 countries in the world that use the imperial inch system now. There are 2 undeveloped countries in Africa. I cannot remember the name of them. They're so small, really, and undeveloped. And the United States. Yep. Those are the only 3 countries in the world that use the imperial system. There might be a reason behind that. So, as we go along here and we talk about our reference point is now here. Now, you remember we made that little dot on the center of my piece of wood, right? And if you think draw a line between these two handles and draw a line between these two handles here, that center right there, that's what you want. That's what you want to be able to put that right on the mark that you made on your piece of wood. So how do you do that? I'm going to show you. This is really cool. You really, really need to learn this. This is manipulating your 0 point. If you do not understand this part here, you've missed out on CNC completely. Really. Do not let the machine put objects where it wants. You put them where you want them. Okay? You don't adjust your wood to compensate for the machine. You make the machine work for you. Okay? So now, we want to put these three objects dead center on my piece of wood. I can go here to edit, and I can say center to material, and it will do it. If I look across here, and I come across, that's dead center, and it is dead center on my material here. I can see it here. Okay? But that's not what we were looking for. Because let's say that center dot that we made on the piece of wood, okay, over here, that center dot, really, that dot is over here somewhere. Because you found out, let me just move this out here. There. You found out that you want these three objects, you want them up there somewhere, but you're really not sure. You know exactly where you want it. And let's say you make a mark right here where the hand is right now. You make a dot right there. And that's where you want to position these. Okay? And then you're going to let's say you're going to have some text over here and maybe a picture or something, whatever. But these here specifically had to go the center of this whole object. You want it right on that dot that we just made right here. Okay? And to do that, I'm going to show you how to do it. And this is really the part that you really need to learn. This here was what I'm going to show you right now is probably one of the most important things in Easel. Okay? If you do not get this, rewind later on. Watch the video again, rewind it, and watch it again. You must learn this 100%, or you will be lost. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is really cool. Watch this. I'm going to say, first of all, I want to reference my drawing dead center. So in other words, I am referencing from the center here now down to my 0 point. Okay? And it's telling me, when I center it here and I go straight down, it's telling me that it is 194 millimeters to the right of the 0 point. And it's telling me that it's 125.4 millimeters above my 0 point to my center. But we are not interested in, we don't want that. We want our 0 point, this 0 point here, dead center in our project. We want our 0 point there. So by selecting the center reference point, you do this. You go right up here in this box, and guess what? You highlight the numbers, you type in a 0, and make sure that there's a space between the 0 and the millimeter, or it will not work. Okay? Now watch this. When I hit this, you know what's going to happen? Watch. Boom! You see there? In X. This is our X here. Remember I told you it keeps going. So the X, guess where it is? Exactly in the center of our object. Okay? It's dead center right here. Now, let's fix Y. 0. Enter. Watch this. Boom! Huh? Look at this. And remember I told you, this window continues on, both to the left and down below. So right now, on your piece of wood, you see here, this is all it shows on here, because that is all that is shown right here. Oops, I just moved it and I screwed that up. Undo, move. There we go. So that's how you undo the move. Okay? And now remember that 0 point, that we're referencing from is from the whole thing. It is not from this square. It's not from this square. Okay? Because I'm going to show you something. Watch this. I can move that up there like this. Or I can move this like this here. And I can go here to edit, and I can say select all. And I put that to 0, space. So there. Now you see, now my square is down here. My 0 point is right here. Right here. So now, with my 0 point dead in the center of my project. Okay? Over here now. Remember, here, it's not going to show anything now. Watch. And this is the only time that Easel, the preview, lies. Okay? This preview is literally dead on. And it will show you, if the preview looks like crap, your carving is going to look like crap. If it's missing parts, guess what? Easel doesn't do magic and fill in where they're missing letters and stuff. No. Now, this here, remember I told you that this here is exactly like this window over here. It will only show this part of the wood, just like that part of the drawing area. But watch what happens. Watch what happens. Okay, now I'm going to simulate it and speed it up a little bit. Okay, now watch this. My tool comes out and it does that. Speed it up a little bit more. so we don't have to watch grass grow or paint dry. Okay, now it goes over and does the other one. And then it makes a square. And then it finishes off the rest of the circle. And when it's finished, it will go back to the 0 point. There we go. There it went back to the 0 point. Now, the cool thing about this, remember I told you, wherever you put your tool down, which is your 0 point, this is what you're going to get right around the tool. So what we do now is, guess what? Remember we had that dot right here on literally on our piece of wood on the machine? Well, guess what? Now that's all we do is we bring our tool right over to that dot right there and we zero it out on that dot. And what's going to come out? It's going to carve it. It's going to carve it right out. It's going to be the center of my project, my object. Okay? This is the thing you need to understand, is how to manipulate 0 points. Now, that's just this here part here is just position, is just for your 0 point. Okay? I'm just going to take away all this here and say delete, and we're just going to take just a object. Okay, and I'm going to use this one here, which is okay. So now you see where I put this bear. Okay. First thing I wanted to make it a little bit bigger. Oh, look at here. You see here, watch. If I click on the foot, let me see if I can expand this up a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, I brought this bear in, and I wanted to make them bigger. And I click on one thing. Look, now it just highlighted this upper part, but it didn't highlight the nose. I can see that there's no blue line around it, and it didn't highlight the feet. Let me show you. Here, if I click on the nose, it only highlights the nose. If I click on a foot, it highlights that foot. If I click on this one, it highlights that foot. This object is blown apart. It's what they call exploded. Okay? Now, if I go to edit and I say select all, you see here's our square now. This is our project square. So this is what we're going to be milling in between, okay? And now, the way it's set up now, look at my 0 point here. No matter where I put my tool down on my piece of wood, and I can literally show you. Just 1 second here. I mean, think of this. That tool is right there. And on my piece of wood, wherever I put my tool down and make it 0 point on my piece of wood on my machine, it is going to be exactly like me putting my tool down here. Wherever I put my tool down on my machine, it's going to carve that bear out to the right of it and above it. Okay? Because everything is to the right of the 0 point and everything is above the 0 point. All right? And right here, I have the center referenced. Now watch this. If I put down the bottom left here, I highlight that one because I want to reference, I want to know what the distance is from this corner to the 0 point. And there you see it, 0.0, 0.0. The bottom left-hand corner is our 0 point. Okay? Now, if I wanted to put my 0 point dead center in here, right in the center of this bear, okay, simple. I highlight the center of the dice, saying I want to use the center, and guess what? I change these to 0. 0 and 0. Now, now you can think of this. Wherever I put my tool down, the bear is going to be carved out exactly around it, like that. Okay? Now, that was just this area here, positioning. And that should actually be called 0 point positioning. Okay? So, since I am not doing these videos any longer than an hour, and I have used up an hour, tomorrow evening I will continue with the same where I left off right now. How about we do that? Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I will be doing another live stream in the group. So how do you like that? So that's what we'll do, okay? And let me see here. I just want to look real quick. Bob hopes I got a notification this time. Hope you're well, Paul. Yep. Mark Leonard, hey. Steve Morigi, good evening. Okay. All right. So there was only 3 people on here, but hopefully people that go to my YouTube will find it and maybe learn something from it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow evening, and I'll finish off this drawing area, or how to manipulate drawings and stuff, okay? Anyways, have a good evening, and thank you for joining in, and I hope it helps. Talk to you guys later. Bye.